George is in Chicago, competing in a female runner's marathon. As usual, Bess finds a hot guy and dates him. She quickly loses interest in Jake because all he cares about is track. Such a one-track mind is not attractive, so the relationship doesn't gain traction. Argo Font Book Review, Argo Font Book Review. Nancy and George bike along the race route. Hopefully Nancy doesn't blind anyone with those running shorts. Oh my gosh, those are so ugly. A car comes out of nowhere and tries to kill 5-year champion Annette Lang. Nancy saves Annette's life. Yeah, her ugly pants blind the culprit. The culprit runs away screaming. Annette's trainer says that she's gotten lots of threats recently, and he asks Nancy to solve the case. Former Olympian Kevin Davis is a reporter for ICT. He and George form an instant love connection. She blushes and babbles a lot when talking about him. It's sweet. Kevin gets exclusive interviews with Annette. They're such a huge hit that both Kevin and Annette get new job opportunities in the sports broadcasting world. Nancy cynically realizes either Kevin or Annette could be faking it for the publicity. At dinner, we meet the various suspects. Gina Giraldi is a hot-tempered runner who wants revenge on Annette. Renee Clark is an up-and-coming champion. Her trainer is Charles Meller, and Irene Neff is a PR person who sponsors her. Brenda Carlton's in this book. She makes a public scene over Nancy's presence. Now everybody knows Nancy's the detective, and she can't go undercover. Thanks, Brenda. Gina threatens Annette, and Nancy learns more about their history of hate. Nancy looks over the threatening notes, and the culprit destroys Annette's room. The culprit pushes a plant out of a 9th-story window, almost hitting Nancy from above. Nancy realizes they were in Irene's room. Irene is shocked to hear about the murder attempt, but when Nancy asks who has access to Irene's room, Irene gets defensive and refuses to say anything. I'm guessing either she's working with the culprit, or she has a secret boyfriend that she's trying to hide. The culprit locks Annette in a closet near the sauna. Annette is kind of a jerk. She makes fun of Nancy for saving her life. It's moments like these which make me wish Nancy had the option of dropping the case. She's not getting paid for it. Why is she putting up with this jerk? Annette invites Nancy to go shopping with her. The culprit mistakes Nancy for Annette and chokes her. Nancy tries to fight back, but it's tough because she's got a sweater over her head. It's really hard to take sweaters off, you know? Nancy manages to bruise the culprit's shin, but she doesn't think to use the bruise as evidence until the last chapter of the book. Nancy breaks into Irene's office. Irene has 2 good motives. 1, she'll be fired if Renee doesn't win the race. 2, she wants revenge on Annette because Annette rejected her sponsorship offer. Nancy sees a distinct note on a bulletin board which has a time and place. At that time and place, someone starts shooting at them. I thought this was the scariest part of the book. The culprit keeps firing at Nancy as she dodges between trees and tries to get closer. The culprit escapes in a sports car. I mean, not a sports car, but a car belonging to the sports people. Kevin looks guilty for a bit, but he claims anybody could have stolen the car from his sports company. They have really bad security. I guess they don't think cars are valuable and worth protecting. Brenda causes more trouble. She publicly brags she has a big interview with Gina where the culprit's identity will be revealed. That's a lie, but the culprit believes it. They break into Gina's room and smash her on the head so badly, Gina is hospitalized for days. Annette says she has important information. She refuses to say what it is until they go outside. That's when the culprit drives up and tries to kidnap Annette again. Nancy fights the culprit off. Kind of. All she does is kick his leg. I guess Nancy forgot she's a master at karate in this series. Continuity! The culprit gave Brenda an anonymous tip to be there with a camera. Annette's super excited to see the photos, and it turns out she was lying when she said she had something important to say. All this gets put together, and Nancy realizes Annette's the culprit. Annette faked everything in order to get a job as a sports reporter on TV. But we can't arrest her right away and end the book now. There's still 30 pages left. Nancy refocuses her investigation on identifying Annette's male accomplice. It's Charles, He was banned from European races for being a murdering maniac. Annette blackmailed him into working with her, which is an astonishingly stupid idea. Hey, I know you got an international ban for almost killing a racer. Wanna try to kill me? Charles poses as a water station volunteer so he can give Annette poisoned water. Nancy recognizes him and tackles him with plenty of time to spare. Renee wins the race. Annette is arrested, and Kevin likes George so much he'll be in the next book of the series. The end. Post-book follow-up. This is an extra long book. It's 150 pages like most books in this series, but the font size is smaller, giving us more lines per page. The book was good, so I'm glad they left in all the extra content instead of cutting stuff out. I wonder why Annette was such a sarcastic jerk to Nancy. Yes, it's because Annette knew the murder attempts were fake all along, but why did Annette not even try to hide her scheme from the detective? That's the one person the culprit should try to fool. My favorite part of the book is chapter 14, where the police gather all the suspects together. The sergeant makes some leading statements, then sits back and watches all the suspects argue with each other. As Nancy notes, the police don't normally try to goad people into starting a schoolyard fight, but darn if it isn't super entertaining. Overall, it's a good book for the series. It's longer than normal, and it does a good job with multiple culprits. Also, we have love drama! The series doesn't get much better than this! Although there are definitely other books that are more heavy on investigation and more heavy on action. Also, books where Nancy doesn't wear such a hideous pair of shorts on the cover. Oh! I give Nancy Drew Files number 69, Running Scared, a 9 out of 10.